Welcome along to South Today Sport, taking our first look at ANZ Championship action after round one. Not the best of starts though for the Southern Steel, going down to the Firebirds in quite a healthy margin for the Australian team. Southern Steel Vice-Captain Wendy Frew joins me in the studio to look back over that match. Good evening, Wendy.
Good evening.
You'd be a bit disappointed as a squad to have been outplayed effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. We've trained pretty hard, and to have something like that in new stadium's very disappointing, and certainly as players we need to have a good look at ourselves.
Steel looked a little bit pedestrian compared with the Firebirds. They seemed to be on song after a shaky start.
Yeah, the Firebirds had a great game, and we think they really outplayed us in all areas of the game. So they'll be extremely ecstatic with their start, and for us, lots of hard work ahead and back to the drawing board to see where we can improve and what went wrong. When
did you know what the lineup was? Because obviously it was a surprise to fans that Fowler wasn't starting.
Yeah, we normally find out sort of in the morning on game day, so the team were well aware of what was going on.
So you had a plan, didn't you, obviously, and if she couldn't play? Yeah,
there was a plan in place, and the management team have lots of hard decisions to make, and that's what they went with, and Tapaya stepped up really well.
Yeah, because it's not just about one play, you have to be able to cover those situations.
Oh yeah, the team this year there's a great bunch, and everyone's trained hard and pushing for that starting seven, so every player's putting their hand up, and I'm sure throughout the season there'll be different combinations starting the games on who's been training well.
So how much of it was mental, how much was physical, do you think, in the shortfall?
It's probably a bit of both, to be honest. Like, mentally you go into your first game, there's a few nerves, and it's something you've just got to get over. But for us, those Aussie sides, they're hard, they're physical, and we probably didn't adapt as much as we can. And at times we let ourselves get bullied around, whereas we need to be tough and give a wee bit back. So some certainly disappointing aspects of the game, and certainly not the start we wanted.
Typical Australian professionalism though, wasn't it? Once they got ahead, they never really gave you another look.
Yeah, down by 10 at half time. You can come back for that, but unfortunately, as you said, they put the foot down, and we should have sort of caught up at times, but we just couldn't get back within a reasonable margin to win the game. So certainly a learning curve, and you just can't let a score blow out like that against a top Aussie side.
Playing in the new stadium adds to the disappointment, doesn't it? Because it would have been nice to have christened it with a win. Yeah,
all week I was pretty excited about playing the new stadium, and only imagined winning in it. So to come away with a loss, highly disappointing, and I guess we'll be back there in a month's time, and we can hopefully redeem ourselves.
If you had to put your finger on one particular area, defence, attack, what do you think needs the most work given that result?
I just think personal errors. I think our turnover count was far too high, and individually, if you're making one or two mistakes, they all add up, and I think that's probably where we lost the game. So as players, we need to look at the video and see where we went wrong and make sure we improve on that come the pulse on Saturday.
Wasn't all negative. Listening to the pundits, Phoenix had an outstanding game. She looks to have put her best foot forward.
Yeah, Phoenix was on fire. She's a great player, and she certainly stepped up. So for her, that's a good start, and she just needs to keep the foot down and make sure she continues to play consistent week out, week in.
A lot of talk after half time to change the approach, do you think, with that gap being so wide?
Yeah, it's hard, when it's 10 you wanted to play catch up netball, and then often you take a punt on a pass that wasn't on, so they're just the wee things that you've got to learn from, and I think the most important thing is when you're down by that much is to score off your own, and if you're getting those bonuses to score off that, but often we let ourselves down and losing our own ball, which makes it even harder to get the ball back.
And how do you rate the Firebirds in terms of the competition based on what you saw? It's not one of the tip teams, is it, to win?
No, they weren't one of the tip teams, but I thought they had a pretty clinical performance for their first hit out. They were certainly, the combinations were good, and they really gelled as a unit, and their attacking was pretty quick too, so I think they'll probably be more of a threat than a lot of people are making out. And
their goal shooting wasn't the highest percentages they've ever shot.
Yeah, no, there's a few rebounds there up for grabs, and they missed a few shots, but Ramalda in there, she's pretty tough to get round, but I thought, as you said, Fee got up for some good ball, and it's promising for us if she can play like that against a tall shooter like that.
Let's look at other games in this round. As we record this, the Pulse haven't played as yet, but staying with the Mystics, big talk about their revival. Awful.
Yeah, they'll be hanging their heads in shame after that. Thank gosh our margin wasn't quite as big, but yeah, really disappointing. There's been a lot of hype spun around them, and they're certainly going to be going back into New Zealand not feeling too good about themselves. So I guess, you know, a sign of a good team is how they bounce back from a big loss like that.
Look at the Tactics Magic and rebuilding phase. Tactics had quite a good tournament in Australia, but they got thumped too.
Yeah, Magic I thought played really well. There's a lot of teams sort of, you know, throwing them out, but they certainly showed what a good side they are. And even though they've lost heaps of players, they've recruited well and had a huge run against the Tactics, who were probably the favourites going into the game just by the odds and stuff. So good start by the Magic, and they certainly won't be an easy beat this season.
Perhaps the game of the round in terms of excitement and intensity was the Swifts Fever away from home, nearly did the job, just ran out of steam late.
Yeah, the Swifts, you know, a lot of teams are picking them this year, but for me, I thought the Fever would win. They've got a huge team on paper, and Norma Plummer in charge there, so I'd say they'll be pretty disappointed with that. And yeah, Swifts, I mean, I think they worked as a unit really well, and at the end when things got tight, they were the team that handled the pressure the best.
Fever's always been under pressure away from home though, haven't they? That's where they failed to perform. At least this was a promising start against perhaps the number one ranked team on paper. Yeah,
they, you know, it's tough for the Feverites, but like us, they have a lot more travel to do than other teams, but you've just got to rise above that and prepare as best as you can. So yeah, they'll certainly be needing to pull through in the next few weeks.
Do you agree with the theory that the Australian teams are a lot more even in terms of the spread of talent? That's the supposition this year.
Yeah, I think there's been so much movement that you're sort of watching a game and then, oh, shivers, I forgot she'd gone to that team. So there's a lot of that going on. But yeah, they're pretty even spread, and like not one of them are an easy beat. Like every Aussie team you go into, you're never going to be able to play a bad game and win. So they're certainly, you know, they're a challenge for us.
Well, there's nothing better to get you up than a Pulse Steel game, is it, with all the rivalry there's been over the years, and that confronts you next week. Yeah,
it'll be nice to watch the Pulse and see how they get on, and then hit them next Saturday. They're a team that are pretty stacked, and it'll be good to challenge yourselves against them and also make some improvements from our poor performance against the Firebirds.
So you both played Australian teams. It would be nice to have a New Zealand derby, and adjustments required there, isn't there?
Yeah, there are adjustments, but I mean that's all part of it. You're playing Aussie teams one week, New Zealand the next. So for us, you know, we're obviously a lot more comfortable playing against those New Zealand teams. So it won't be too much adjustment. Just, you know, subtle things that we need to improve on.
Do you expect to be drilled hard this week? The coach is going to come down tough on you?
Yeah, I guess we deserve it as players. You know, we didn't step up and individually didn't perform as well as we should have and as well as we can. So, yeah, you certainly deserve to get thrashed a wee bit after a performance like that.
And there was talk that you didn't have a great deal of preparation as a complete unit, have you? You haven't had a lot of time together as a full squad.
Yeah, we haven't, but I certainly don't think we can use that as an excuse. I mean, you've got to you've got to play how you've gone, and for us, not having the 12-bit trainings for a big part of the pre-season is just the way it is, and yeah, we certainly can't use that as an excuse for our performance against the Firebirds.
It's so critical. It used to be talked about the third quarter, but you've got to start well in these games. So you can't be chasing matches, can you? It's just too tough a competition.
Yeah, I think when teams get up now, it's pretty hard to give that lead away, and that showed. Like we had not a bad start, and then sort of the last few minutes of the first quarter, they just got up by 4 or 5 goals, and then from there their confidence just rose. So you've got to play consistent and certainly have a good first quarter to keep it nice and tight for the rest of the game. Because
as you mentioned, you have to take more and more risks the further behind you go, and then it can blow out on you.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what happened to us against the Firebirds, unfortunately.
All right, thanks for joining us, Wendy, and let's hope the round 2 is much more kind to you than the first, but yes, it's all up to the team on the day, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, that is the South Today tonight. See you tomorrow.